Good afternoon, everyone. In today's class, we will discuss the last concept of our first unit according to our syllabus, that is transfer function of servo motors. So, do you know what is servo motor? Generally, the servo motor is also a kind of motor that is used for position control. Sometimes it may be used for acceleration or velocity control also. So, which is very rare when we use servo motors. Servo motor is also a motor, but the application is very rare when we compared with the normal applications of normal motors. So servo motor having a precise control on the position, on the acceleration, or on the velocity wherever we need to control. And servo motors are of majorly of two different types based on its input, AC and DC. However, special servo motors are also there for different kind of applications. For specific kind of applications, we will use a special type of servo motors. So servo motors are classified into three different categories: AC servo motors, DC servo motors, and special servo motors. However, we majorly concentrate on DC servo motors because of their advantages. And DC servo motors generally classified into two major types. First one is armature controlled DC servo motors. The second one is a field controlled DC servo motors. So in today's class, we will see uh, how to find the transfer function of a DC servo motor, particularly for our first type, which is armature controlled DC servo motor. And in the next class, we will complete with field control. And coming to the first one, which is the transfer function of armature controlled servo motors. In order to obtain the transfer function in each and every case, we must decide whether what is the input of that system and what is the output of that system. Okay, in each and every case, first we need to identify the input and then we need to identify the output, because the transfer function is the Laplace transform of output to the input. Okay, now you can see this is the equivalent circuit diagram representation of a DC motor, probably a shunt or separately excited DC motor. Okay, so now you have to recall your machines one subject here. So this is the equivalent circuit diagram representation of the field circuit, and this is the armature circuit. However, the armature circuit is connected by a shaft also. So this is a shaft, and here we are controlling the armature circuit. So that means for a DC motor, we are giving a DC input, which is the armature voltage is the input of the DC motor. And when we give the electrical supply to the DC motor, then it will rotate. So rotation will be our output, and we will see that rotation in terms of theta. Motor takes the electrical energy as the input, mechanical gives the mechanical energy as the output. So mechanical energy is nothing but the rotation. Rotation can be determined in terms of speed, omega or n, specifically theta, which is angular displacement. Okay, so the output is theta and the input is electrical energy, which is armature voltage VA. So in order to obtain the transfer function of the given DC servo motor, the transfer function is output to the input, which are in Laplace domain. So the output is theta. So the Laplace transform will be theta of s by VA of S, where a VA of S is the armature voltage, theta is the displacement. Okay, and here a few terms are represented here, which we come across in this derivation. Armature resistance is represented as R suffix A, capital R suffix A. Armature inductance is represented as LA, capital L in small a. And armature current, which is depends upon time, that's why it is represented in the lowercase small ia. Armature voltage also represented in the lowercase because it is also a time domain function. Remember, time domain functions are always represented in the lower cases. When we convert them into the Laplace domains, then we will represent them in the upper cases. Okay, so IA, VA, and EB, which is back EMF, these three are the time domain functions. That's why these three terms are represented as lower cases. RA and LA both are constant values for the designed machine. That's why RA and LA are represented in the upper cases. Next, K suffix T is the torque constant, where capital T is the torque that is developed by this DC motor in Newton meters, and theta is the angular displacement of the shaft, because the rotation uh, will be seen on the shaft. That's why we will measure the speed in terms of theta. And J is the moment of inertia of the motor. Generally, the load of the motor is connected on the shaft. This is the shaft rod, right? So we will connect the load on the shaft. So shaft will also have some weight and load will also have some weight. So that weight is represented with the letter J, which is moment of inertia. So the moment of inertia of the motor along with its load combinedly represented as J, where J is the mass of the load as well as the shaft of the motor. Okay, and B is the frictional coefficient of the motor, because you might have seen the DC motor construction where the shaft is connected to a fixed point of the motor, and the shaft, in between the shaft and the fixed point, there we have a bearing. So because of that bearing, the shaft will move freely. Of course, even though we are having the bearings, we will have friction between the shaft and the fixed point. Okay, and that friction is represented with the letter B. And finally, KB is the back EMF constant. So these are the few terms that we will come across during this concept. And here we need to obtain the transfer function of the armature controlled DC servo motor. So we are going to control the armature of the motor. So that means we need to keep the field circuit as constant. So in order to control the armature, we have to keep the field circuit constant. So VF must be constant. VF is the field voltage. So we have to do nothing with this field because this is constant. And now from this armature circuit, we can write the electrical equivalent circuit diagram for this armature circuit. What will be the armature circuit will have? A armature resistance, armature inductance, or winding inductance, we can say. Armature winding inductance, armature resistance, armature winding inductance, and a back EMF. This back EMF direction opposes the supply voltage direction, right? So this equivalent circuit diagram you have seen in the machines one subject also. So the armature circuit is represented in electrical form like this. So this is the equivalent circuit diagram of the armature circuit. And not only this, we have to represent this mechanical circuit diagram also, because there is a shaft which is rotating with the angle theta, and the uh, shaft having some weight along with its load, because motor has to handle a load. the load weight and the shaft weight completely denoted with the letter J, and we're having a friction between the fixed point and the shaft with the bearings, right? So all these are comes under mechanical representation. So we need to represent the mechanical representation of the motor. So motor is nothing but the combination of electrical circuit along with the mechanical circuit. And we know how to extract or how to calculate the mechanical circuit representations. We have come across mechanical translational systems and we have come across mechanical rotational systems. So with the help of that concept, we can solve this mechanical circuit also, right? So first, from this armature equivalent circuit diagram, simply apply the Kirchhoff's voltage law, which is KVL, and write the equation. This equation can be written with the help of Kirchhoff's voltage law, right? So what is Kirchhoff's voltage law? The algebraic sum of applied voltages must be equal to the algebraic sum of voltage drops. So here the applied voltage is VA only, which is armature voltage. So the armature voltage is equal to voltage drops. Voltage drop will be across the resistance, across the this inductor. And however, this back EMF will back EMF is having the opposite direction to the opposite the supply voltage, which is armature voltage. That's why here we need to write the back EMF also. So the final equation will become IaRa, where Ia is the armature current, plus La into dIa by dt. Voltage drop across the inductor is represented as La into dIa by dt, plus Eb is equal to armature voltage. So this is our KVL, required KVL equation of the armature circuit diagram. Okay. And we know that the torque is directly proportional to the armature current. And we can write the torque equation T is equal to K into, K is the constant, phi into, where phi is the flux, which is the field winding, and Ia. This case is armature controlled case. So in this case, we are keeping the flux or the field winding is also a constant value. So that means flux is also constant. So K is a constant, flux is a constant. That implies we can write the torque equation as KT into Ia, where KT is this K into phi. K into phi is simply represented as KT, because phi is also constant here, because we are keeping the field as constant. So therefore, the torque equation will be KT into Ia. And also, what is back EMF? We can write the back EMF EB in the same form, where EB is equal to K into phi into omega. K phi omega, where omega is the speed in radians per second. We can represent the speed in omega or capital N. Capital N gives revolutions per minute. Omega gives radians per second. And we know the relation between omega and N, where omega is equal to 2 pi N by 60. So if we want to convert this revolutions per minute into omega, then we have to multiply this 2 pi by 60 factor. So we can convert into RPM, or we can convert RPM into radians per second. Okay. So generally this is the back EMF formula, which is K into phi into omega. However, this phi is constant because our flux is constant, right? So this is represented with a constant value KB. You can see this KB here. And omega is d theta by dt. Omega is nothing but the change in displacement with respect to the time, change in speed with respect to the time, right? So omega is nothing but d theta by dt. So this back EMF equation is the conventional equation. So this conventional equation is written like this. However, we can also write this equation by using Faraday's second law also. With the help of Faraday's second law also, we can write this equation. So torque can be written like this, EB can be written like this. So all these three equations, first, second, and third, all these three equations are electrical equations only. But we need to couple electrical and mechanical equations because we are having a mechanical form in the motor. See, this is the mechanical representation of the motor shaft and bearings and load, etc. You can see this is a shaft, and the friction between the shaft and the fixed point, this is the fixed point. So the friction between this shaft and the fixed point will be represented as B, which is a dash pot or nothing but friction. Okay, the weight of the shaft and the load will be represented as J, moment of inertia. Okay, so from this rotational mechanical system, we know how to write the torque equation, where the T is the applied torque here. So opposing torques will be Tj and Tb, right? According to the mechanical rotational system. So the opposing torques will be Tj and Tb here. So by applying Newton's law, the applied torque T is equal to opposing torques Tj plus Tb here. So this is Tj expression, and this is Tb expression. So we know how to write Tj value. We know how to write Tb value. So J into d square theta by dt square plus B into d theta by dt, which is equal to our applied torque. So these are the only 4 equations we will get in the armature controlled DC servo motors. However, in order to obtain the transfer function, we need to convert all these time domain equations. All these 4 equations, you can see all these 4 equations are time domain equations. We have to convert them into Laplace domain. So these 4 equations are collectively written here in the Laplace domain. You can see the first equation converted into the Laplace domain. So IA of S, IA is capital, IA of S into RA plus LA into, this is d by dt. So first order differentiation, that means we will get S power 1. So S into IA of S plus EB of S equal to VA of S. This is our first equation when we convert into a Laplace transform. And our torque equation will be T of S is equal to KT is a constant value and IA of S. And similarly, our back EMF will be EB of S is equal to KB into, this is first order differentiation, right? So that's why we'll get S here. So S into theta of S. And our mechanical equation, which is T of S is equal to J into, this is second order differential equation. So S square into theta of S plus B into, this is first order differential equation. So S into theta of S. So this is the Laplace conversion. This is the Laplace conversion of time domain to Laplace domain. Okay. And we need to find the transfer function, and that the transfer function is output to the input. We know what is the output. Output is theta of S, right? So this is our output. And what is our input? Input is VA of S. So we have to convert and simplify all these equations in terms of VA of S and theta of S only. We don't need this torque expression, we don't need this IA expression, we don't need this EB expression. We need to eliminate all these terms, and we have to simplify these equations in order to get the transfer function. How we will do it? Initially, you can substitute this EB term here. in the place of EB, you can substitute this EB equation here. So we can eliminate this EB in this equation. And similarly, here in torque equation, in this torque equation, you can substitute this one here. Right? And you can see here IA into RA plus IA into LA into S. So in these two terms, we can take out IA as common. So take out IA as common and substitute EB here, which is KB into S into theta of S here. And next, substitute this equation in the torque here. So we can see here like this. And we need to eliminate this IA also. So what I should write is, from this equation, I'll write IA is equal to like this. So this KT, bring this KT this side. So I'll get this IA value. And in the next equation, I'll substitute or I'll replace IA here. This equation with this equation, replace this IA value with this equation. Okay. So the resultant will be like this. Substitute and simplify. And then take out theta of S as common from this equation, because all the terms are having theta of S. So take out the common theta of S and write theta of S by VA of S, because we need theta of S by VA of S, right? So this will be our final transfer function of the armature controlled DC servo motor. So theta of S by VA of S is equal to some constant KT by RA plus SLA into JS square plus BS plus KB into KT into S. So this is our final transfer function. However, generally the transfer functions are represented in terms of zeros and poles. In the next classes, in the next unit, I'll explain what is zero, what is pole, how we can represent the transfer function, why we need to represent the transfer function in this 1 plus S formula. I'll explain in the next units, in the next classes. Generally, the denominator of the transfer function is represented like this: S plus A into sorry, not S plus A. In the denominator of the transfer function, generally it is represented as 1 plus S into T1, let us say, into 1 plus S into T2 into so on. The denominator of the transfer function as well as the numerator of the transfer function will be represented in this formula in order to obtain the time constants. Here the T1, T2, T3 and so on are represents the time constants. Okay, so we should represent any of the transfer function like this. That's why this final expression, this will be our final expression of the transfer function, and this final expression is further simplified to represent in 1 plus S formula. Okay, so for that case, in the first term, took RA as common, so that we will get 1 plus S term, 1 plus S term. So that's why in this term RA are taken as common, and in the second term this BS taken as common, because I need to get 1 here, so that BS taken as common. So if you take RA common here, we will get 1 plus S into, here LA is there is no RA term, so that means LA by RA. So S into LA by RA we will get this term, right? You can see here when RA is taken as common, then you will get 1 plus S into LA by RA. Similarly, here we take BS as common, then we will get 1 here, and here J into S by BS. S square is there. Of course, this S square will be get cancelled. So 1 plus JS by B will be this term plus KB into KT into S. Okay. So here take out the common RA into B and bring it to the numerator. So KT by RA into B here. So in this term, S will be there. Here also S is there. So we can take S as common because RA and B, we bring it them to the numerator. So KT by RAB, we have written like this. So in this term, we have S, and in this term also we have S. So take it out S as common. So 1 plus S into this LA by RA is represented as TA, where TA gives the electrical time constant. And similarly, this J by B, 1 plus S into Tm. J by B is represented as a Tm, where Tm is the mechanical time constant. So this is our final Laplace transform of the given armature controlled DC servo motor, which is a theta of S by VA of S. Theta of S by VA of S, where this TA is the electrical time constant, can be calculated as L by A, LA by RA. And the Tm is the mechanical time constant, calculated as J by B. Okay. So this is how we can derive the transfer function for the given armature controlled DC servo motor. In the same way, we can derive the transfer function for field control DC servo motor also, that we will see in the next class. Okay, thank you.